April is supposed to feel easier. It doesn't.
Some days are warm and bright. Then, out of nowhere, it's freezing, it's pouring, and you're outside thinking, what just happened?
Today, we're talking about April, what it feels like, and why it might feel familiar. So, something happened to me this morning that I think perfectly explains what April weather actually is. I woke up and looked outside. The sun was out, not hidden behind clouds, not peeking through, actually out. The sky was this soft, clean blue. I could see my neighbor's garden from the window, and their tulips were open, bright reds, deep purples. They were almost glowing.
I'm sure it looked beautiful out there.
It really did. And I thought, today is the day. I'm walking to Leo's place and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. I didn't even hesitate. I grabbed a light jacket, not my raincoat, because look at that sky. Why would I need a raincoat?
And meanwhile, my weather app was telling a very different story.
I didn't even check. I saw blue sky and that was enough for me.
The word on my screen was showers. The rain doesn't last long in April, but it comes fast and hard. That's why they call them showers. There's even an old saying, April showers bring May flowers. The rain is what makes everything bloom later. The mess comes first. The beauty comes after.
And I was about to learn that the hard way. I was about halfway to Leo's house. I was walking past the park, looking at the tiny buds on the trees. They're so small in early April. They look like little green dots on the branches, but each one is going to become a leaf. You just can't see it yet.
You're getting very poetic about trees, Lily.
I was enjoying my walk. Let me have this. And then the wind changed. It picked up out of nowhere. 1 second, it was a gentle breeze. The next second, it was sharp and cold and pushing against my face.
And then the rain.
It didn't start slowly. It didn't drizzle first. It just arrived. A full downpour, the kind where you can hear it hitting the ground around you.
From my window, I could see the street go dark. The pavement changes color when it gets wet. It goes from light gray to almost black. That happened in about 10 seconds.
I opened my umbrella. The wind caught it immediately. There was a loud crack. One of the metal ribs just snapped. The wind pushed the fabric backwards, and the whole thing just flipped inside out, completely useless.
I could see her from the window at this point, walking fast, holding this broken umbrella that was doing absolutely nothing.
I was almost running, and because the rain was hitting my face, I wasn't watching the ground. My foot landed in what looked like solid grass next to the sidewalk. It wasn't solid. It was a muddy puddle hidden under the grass. My shoe sank, and I felt cold water go right through my sock.
She showed up at my door looking like a completely different person than the one who left her house 20 minutes earlier.
My hair was flat against my forehead. One shoe was brown. The other was still clean. My jacket was soaked through because, again, it was not a raincoat.
And that is April weather. That is the first thing you need to understand. April doesn't transition. It doesn't warn you. It gives you a beautiful morning and a terrible afternoon in the same day, sometimes in the same hour.
And honestly, It felt so familiar. Not just the weather, the feeling.
What do you mean?
You know those days when your English feels good? When you understand a whole conversation, or you read something without translating, and you think, I'm getting there. This is working. And then the next day, someone asks you a simple question, and your mind goes blank. And you think, wait, what happened? I was doing so well yesterday.
That's April.
That's exactly April. The progress is real, but it doesn't come in a straight line. It comes with sunshine, and then rain, and then sunshine again. And if you only packed for the sunshine, you're going to get soaked.
So, the first lesson April teaches you. Be ready for both. The good days and the hard days. They're both part of it.
Pack the raincoat even when the sky is blue. If that feeling sounds familiar, if some days your English feels bright and other days it feels like rain, that's exactly why we're here. Every episode, same place, same pace.
Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So, Lily survived the walk. She's inside now, she's drying off, and I can see her face change.
Leo, I need to describe what I saw.
Please be gentle.
There were tissues everywhere. There was a stack of old mail on the desk that had been there so long it looked like it was part of the furniture. A pile of laundry on a chair that was so tall it didn't look like a chair anymore. It looked like a fabric sculpture.
I've been busy.
And I know some of you are listening right now and thinking, what does this have to do with April? This is a messy apartment. But actually, this is one of the most common traditions in English-speaking cultures this time of year.
Spring cleaning.
When winter ends, people open their windows, let fresh air in, and deep clean their homes. You go through everything: closets, drawers, shelves. You throw away what you don't need. You organize what's left. And I told Leo, we're doing this today. I brought cleaning supplies. We're going through every room.
And I agreed. I said, fine, let's do it. How bad can it be?
It was bad.
It was so much worse than I thought.
We started in the living room. I was organizing the coffee table and finding things that had been there for weeks. Old receipts. A charger for a phone he doesn't own anymore.
The hallway closet had a box I hadn't opened since I moved in. I didn't even know what was in it. I was overwhelmed. There was so much stuff in there that I didn't even know where to start, so I just closed it again.
You closed it.
I panicked. It was too much at once.
And that's the thing about spring cleaning that nobody tells you. You start cleaning up your grammar, you learn some new vocabulary, you feel like you're making progress, and then you open a new topic or try to have a real conversation, and suddenly you see how much you don't know. It's like opening Leo's closet. You thought you were almost done, and then there's a whole box you didn't even know existed.
And your instinct is to do what I did. Just close it. Walk away. Say, I'll deal with that later.
But spring cleaning doesn't work that way, and neither does learning. You don't have to do it all in one day. I didn't make Leo empty that closet today. We just opened it. We looked at what was there. We took out a few things, and we closed it, knowing we'd come back.
And weirdly, that felt better than ignoring it. Just knowing what was in there made it feel less scary.
That's what I want you to hear. You don't have to fix every mistake today. You don't have to learn every word this week. But don't close the closet. Look at what's there. Pick one thing. Start with that. Anyway, we were tired. My arms hurt. Leo had been sneezing all afternoon because of the dust, and also because...
Allergies. My nose has been stuffed up all week. In spring, the trees and flowers release pollen. It's a fine yellow powder that helps plants grow. But for a lot of people, it causes allergies. Itchy eyes, runny nose, sneezing. It's extremely common in April and May.
Leo takes allergy medicine every morning now. It's just part of his April routine.
It's not glamorous, but it's real.
So we stopped cleaning. We sat down near the window, and Leo opened it because we needed the air. And I looked outside.
The rain had stopped.
It had been pouring for hours, and now it was just still. The air smelled different, clean.
There's actually a word for that smell. The smell after rain hits dry ground. Petrichor. It's one of those words that sounds exactly like what it means. Clean and quiet and new.
And I noticed something. The buds on the trees near Leo's window looked bigger than the ones I saw on my walk this morning.
They weren't actually bigger.
I know, but it felt that way because now I was actually looking. I was still. I wasn't rushing to get somewhere. I wasn't soaking wet. I wasn't cleaning. I was just looking.
And what did you see?
Growth. Tiny, quiet, everywhere. The grass was thicker than it was a week ago. There were small white flowers in the cracks of the sidewalk that I know weren't there last month. The tree branches that looked completely dead in February now had green on every tip.
None of it happened today.
No, that's the point. None of it happened today. It had been happening every day, slowly, under the rain, through the cold nights, during all the storms I complained about. The growth was always there. I just couldn't see it while I was standing in the mess.
I think you know where this is going.
If you're listening to this podcast right now, you're growing. I know it might not feel like it. I know some days you feel like you're standing in the rain with a broken umbrella and one muddy shoe. I know some days you open a closet and the mess feels bigger than you thought. I know some days you think, I should be further along by now.
But you're not the same as you were in January. You're not the same as you were last year. The words you understand now, the sentences you can follow, the fact that you're listening to this right now and you're keeping up.
That's growth. That's your green on the branches. You just have to stop and look at it.
April doesn't show you the finished version. It shows you the process, the mud and the rain and the pollen and the mess. That is the process.
And if you keep going, May comes, and that's when you see the flowers.
If April feels chaotic right now, good. That means something is growing.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.